RV travel goes perfectly. And sometimes everything starts breaking at once.
This is not fun, guys.
This week started out like any other, but it didn't take long before we were dealing with a burned up thermostat.
Smelled something really awful, burning smell.
A fried refrigerator control board.
I'm about to swap the control board out again. Luckily, I have a spare.
And a potentially serious issue with one of our truck tires.
Not the hardest thing to do in the world, but it definitely ain't my favorite thing to do in the world.
Stay tuned to see how we dealt with each of these issues.
All right, I found it. Working at the computer, trying to, what's the new word? Self-gnosis on my knee, do a little self-diagnosis on my knee. But anyway, smelled something really awful, burning smell. And I was pretty sure that I heard it right when one of these air conditioners kicked on. I thought it was the kitchen one. So went on top of the roof, checked everything out up there, everything's good. Came back inside and noticed that this thermostat was off completely. Walked up, pushed the button on it like that. And I noticed that's where the smell's coming from. This is toast. It's really bad. So luckily I have another thermostat. Hopefully it's just the thermostat that went bad and there's not something that caused it. And so if you remember from a previous video we did just a few weeks ago, I think it was, that was one of the things we talked about. If you smell something burning, it's bad. It's not normal, ever. So we're gonna get this thing replaced. I'm surprised, you know, the fuse didn't blow or anything. I'm assuming there's no blown fuses because it's still on. And but what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull this off of here. I'm gonna check the voltage on the 12-volt wire coming into the back, make sure that that's good. But a little bit of a scary situation there because I don't think it would take much in an RV to just burn the whole damn thing down. So hopefully it was just the thermostat and it burned itself up for some reason and we can put a new one in there and be okay. So we got it sorted out. And what did I just say?
That it's a good thing that we have a genius in the house.
That's not how that went, guys. But we got it figured out. I think we got it figured out. We got this thing torn apart over here. We're gonna walk you through it here in just a minute. But for now, what are we eating here? This stuff is, I don't know what it's called. It's a chip dip of some sort.
Cheesy sausage dip. It's breakfast sausage. It's supposed to be a can of Rotel, but we've been using fire roasted tomatoes. A package of cream cheese and 2 tablespoons of taco seasoning. Mm-hmm.
So we're killing time. We're trying to let the rig cool down a little bit here before we turn the AC off and kind of walk through this so it's not so loud. So anyway, we're gonna finish our snack. Okay, snack time is done. And here's what we think happened. So I got this thing put back together a little bit here. So on the back of this is where all of our connections go in, into the thermostat. And I'm only gonna focus on this part right over here. This is where the red, blue, and yellow wires come in. So red is the 12-volt coming in, the blue is the common, the yellow is for the compressor. So for those of you who have been watching us for a little while, you know that a little while back, I tested these new smart Coleman thermostats. They were really cheap. They were Wi-Fi enabled, kind of like the Micro Airs, but a lot cheaper. And I was testing them out and I was going back and forth between those thermostats and these. And I kept popping this one off a lot, this little connection here, or this, it's a cover for the connections in here. And here's what I think happened. I think that this thing is pretty loose in here now, and there's a good possibility that what happened was the thermostat was trying to call for cool over and over and over again because there was a loose connection in here. And we've got this crazy wind here today, and the rig's been rocking back and forth a little bit, and it really didn't take a lot of motion when I was testing this a while ago. You could hear it clicking inside, calling for the compressor, not calling, like back and forth, back and forth. And I think what happened was that caused inside of here, there's a little tiny transistor right here, Q11, if you're interested. Q11, it's a transistor, and this thing's totally fried. So I think what happened was this thing was cycling really fast back and forth, or too often back and forth, and I think it just blew that transistor right there, and that's what we were smelling. Whew, still smells pretty good. So anyway, I think that's our culprit. Luckily, I had a spare one of these on hand, so I went ahead and wired that thing up, and we're back we're back in the game again, but I think that's what happened. And it's kind of disappointing because those smart thermostats from Coleman that I did a review on a while back totally were not worth screwing up this thermostat. You hear that, guys? So it only took us 2 months to get out here, but we're at Olivera Park here in Brownsville. I think it's Olivera. And we're not wearing mics, so you probably can hear the wind and stuff, but we don't want to wear the mics because we want you to hear these birds. It's just insane over there. We're right across the street.
Yeah.
And standing underneath of them, you can't even hardly have a conversation.
No. Like, I'm not sure the numbers, but hundreds of these green parrots come and roost here every single night. And so, as you can kind of see, there are quite a few people out here taking pictures, video, and it's really cool.
It is really cool. Can't believe it took us 2 months to get here. We're leaving in the morning, so it's a good thing we came today.
Tonight was a nice night, though, because a lot of nights that I've thought about doing it, it's just been so hot, and I didn't want to be standing out here.
That's true.
So tonight we've got a little bit of a breeze. I think a thunderstorm's coming in, so the temperature's a little bit better.
Yeah.
And it's the night before we leave, so we had to do it.
Oh, what kind of birds are they? We didn't
They're
say.
green parrots.
Green parrots.
Yeah.
So there we go. So we're gonna check them out for a little while longer.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I get for standing right underneath of them.
There you go.
So as we're getting ready to pack up and get out of here this morning, I just wanted to give a quick update on this Happy Travel bike tent. So again, we've been super happy with this thing, but there's a couple of things I wanted to point out. So number one, these things they've got these little, I don't know what you call them, but the legs are supposed to go into this little hole right here, and then that stakes into the ground. Well, one of them came off because of all this wind down here, but it hasn't really been a problem. I don't know if two of them were to break, it might be a little different story, but for now, just one. I just kind of jammed this leg right here into the ground, and it seems to have been fine. The other thing I wanted to point out is, because we do keep our bikes in here, can you go over there and stretch that out? Have my assistant here help me out. But you can see all of this tape that we've had to put down. And that was a combination of the bike kickstands and all this wind that we've been in. I mean, we've been in constant, mid-20s to mid-30s winds pretty much for 2 months. And this thing has really held up nice. But we did get some holes poked in the bottom from the kickstand. So what we do is, where'd it go? So what we do is we've just taken our Grand Design mat that really needs to be replaced anyway. That's the door mat that we set outside. And we just stick it down on the floor like that. And then we make sure that the kickstands are on there. But other than that, man, this thing has held up like really, really good in all of this wind. Obviously, I've got all four corners tethered down here. But once we were able to get all four corners tethered down, it survived all of this wind. And I'm thinking there were a couple of times where I think we got gusts up into the 50s because it really shook the rig. And this thing, once we got it properly tethered down and everything, it didn't move one bit. Anytime you take a wheel off of your RV and put it back on, you always want to recheck the lug torques after you drive down the road a little bit. So I did the wheel bearings about a week ago, and we just pulled out of our spot today. So we went about 15 miles, and I'm just going to do a quick check all the way around on all of these lugs to make sure I'm still sitting at that 120 pounds that we should be sitting at. I don't know about you, but I am glad to be back on the road.
Yes.
You know why?
Why?
It is so freaking windy down there.
Yes, it is.
So I thought it would be important because when we first got down there, we were like, oh, this is our, could be our new winter oasis down here. The weather's great. We had very little rain, and the temperatures were great.
Right.
But
you can't do anything outside you can't even sit outside in the evening with your friends and just chill and relax because it's so windy.
Yeah, all the stinking time. And it's funny because all the weather apps we use windfinder.com to look and see what the wind is, the upcoming forecast for the wind. And the interesting thing is they'll list it as 12 mile an hour winds, but the gusts will be in the mid 20s to mid 30s. But the problem is the gusts far outweigh the normal wind. It's just like this. It's like a constant gust of wind all the stinking time. So anyway, I just thought we should mention that because, when we first got down here, we thought, man, this is great. And I just don't want anybody to be disappointed when they come down and go, man, those clowns over at Fairwinds RV really screwed the pooch on this one.
Yeah, so if you're okay with the warmer temps and the wind, it's good. You're close to South Padre, the prices are good. You can't get much closer to Mexico than where we were.
If that's important to you, we never went over there, but
But I mean, even just in Brownsville, I feel like we were getting very authentic Mexican food.
It's funny because I just saw this map on Facebook today. It was probably AI generated, but it was a map of Texas, and it was taking all the different parts of Texas, the Dallas area, stupid traffic, and this, the Houston area, lots of people, or whatever it was, and then that little southern tip of Texas where we were said something like, I think it said, best Mexican food in the country. And I would have to agree with that 100%. Even if you go to Hebe, for those of you who know what that is, it's the HEB.
HEB.
They get a little touchy if you call it the Hebe down here. But anyway, HEB is a grocery store, lots of authentic Mexican stuff, lots of authentic Mexican.
To join the US 77 North.
Lots of authentic Mexican food in there, including their butter flour tortillas.
Oh my goodness, we just had some of those this morning with our scrambled egg roll-ups. We had them last night with our fish tacos. We're gonna have again tonight for fish tacos. I'm gonna need to stock up. I feel like the HEB is the best grocery store around. I love most of their HEB brand products, and I'm going to be very disappointed mainly when we leave Texas. I think there's a few HEBs in the surrounding states, but not many. So if anybody from HEB is watching this, please expand to the rest of the country.
All right, we made it another successful, uneventful travel day, and we're getting all set up here, and we got a new, I don't know, it's not really a toy, but RV accessory, and just figured I'd show the bag here. Some of you may be familiar with it, maybe not, but if you can guess what this is, leave us a comment down below. We're gonna set this up for now, and then you can look forward to a full review here in the next couple of weeks. So again, if you know what this is, or if you think you know what it is, leave us a comment down below, see if you're right. So remember earlier when I said we had an uneventful travel day? Well, the travel is over, but the travel day is not, because it's 9:20 in the evening, and we're sitting there watching The Wire, of all shows, and we were smelling something. At first I thought it was bleach, and then I realized it was something getting really hot. And guess what? Here we are. If you watched us for a while, you know we've had troubles with the refrigerator and the control board. Well, I'm about to swap the control board out again. Luckily, I have a spare. There were parts of this control board. There was a capacitor that was about 170 degrees. Oh. There was a transformer up there that was about 170 degrees, and I think, oh, and it was drawing about 18 amps, which is not normal. I think it may have been going through a defrost cycle. I think that may be why it was drawing that 18 amps. Not 100% sure, because before I could really determine what was going on, it went back down to about the normal 9 amps. So, but I think it was the defrost cycle. So these have got little fans on them here. Normally when this thing gets hot, you can hear these fans really spin up. You can hear it all the way over here at, I know you can't see it, but all the way over here at the bar area, you can hear these fans spin up when this thing gets really hot. And I really couldn't hear them until we pulled the refrigerator out, and then we kind of exposed the control board on top, is when I could finally hear these fans, and they were just running in just kind of a slow speed. So anyway, I'm gonna swap this thing out at 9:20 in the evening. I'm done with this refrigerator. And then tomorrow we'll call Furrion and see what we can do about getting a new control board. This is not fun, guys. I'm tired of dicking around with this refrigerator. All right, so a little update on this refrigerator. Another update on this stupid refrigerator. Got that old board put back in there, and it's been working fine. It's been about 3 days now. I think we haven't had any issues with it. I don't know how long I trust this thing to work for, but I got a new board on order straight from Lippert, but that could be up to a month before we get that. So fingers crossed that this board holds out to then. Now, the other issue that we have with this thing is this right here. So this is what screws into the floor underneath the refrigerator, and you can see here it's been chewed up pretty bad, because this is where the frame of the feet, if you will, rests on this board. So it sits in there kind of like this, and it sits basically just in front of the rollers on the bottom of the refrigerator, and it's got a kind of a sharp edge on it, and so it's just digging into this little trim piece that they use down there. And so obviously this is another problem. So what I did today, I went out to Lowe's and I bought this. So I don't know, some kind of steel tube, if you will. And we're gonna replace this with a steel tube. And it's a little bit smaller, which is gonna be fine, but I definitely wanted it to be just a little bit smaller, because this one is a real pain in the neck to get out from underneath the refrigerator, even after you get it unscrewed. So this one will be much easier anytime we have to pull this refrigerator out to actually get it out from underneath. So that's what we're doing. I got my holes drilled already in here, and we're gonna get this attached, and this should solve this problem. There we go. That was an easy enough fix, I think, to replace this thing. You know, I know Grand Design watches a lot of these YouTube videos out there. Probably not watching this one, but just in case you are, these are garbage. Spend a little bit more money, put something down there that's actually going to work. So anyway, we'll give an update on this at some point in the future, let you know how it holds up. Until then, I just hope that this thing stays cold until we can get that new board. Well, the hits keep on coming. So I think in the past week, we've had a thermostat burn up. We had a control board in the refrigerator burn up. And now, well, we went to get the truck to play some pickleball this morning. And as soon as I started up the truck, I got a notification that the left front tire was low, about 55 pounds. Normally keeping them at about 80. So came out here, took a look, and here's what we find. So we got this ginormous, hopefully that shows up, it's kind of, the shadow's not good. Got a ginormous nail or bolt or something in the tire. So that's what I'm doing today. Get to take this tire off and get it in and get a new one. So bad things always happen in threes. So hopefully that's it. And the worst part about this is those tires aren't even that freaking old. So you know how it is. If you ain't spending money, you ain't living the RV life correctly. All right, so here's a little bit better look at this. Take a look down here. That's a pretty, it's a pretty good size something in that tire. don't know if that's a bolt, a screw, I don't really know, but you're gonna get it swapped out. Not the hardest thing to do in the world, but it ain't definitely ain't my favorite thing to do in the world. And again, for those of you who are gonna criticize me here, number one, I'm not gonna torque these down with this impact gun. And no, this is not an impact socket. I'm not gonna put that much torque on it. Just chill out, guys. All right, all done. Again, not my favorite thing to do in the world. Not terribly difficult, but let me tell you something. Everything we do takes 3 times as long because we have to record it. So I hope you guys appreciate that. But anyway, definitely gonna have to go and get this thing fixed, dropped off, get this tire dropped off today to get that replaced again because that looks pretty janky. And I know I don't like it, and I know for sure she's not gonna wanna roll around looking all janky like that. So anyway, so we're gonna load this up, take it in, and get a new one put on that rim. Yeah, put that camera down and help me, woman.